Friday, July 22nd, 2014. Pastor Lord is not here. We have pledged once tonight, so I'll just go to the roll call.
Chairwoman Eloise Taylor.
Here.
Vice Chair Bill Colombo.
Here.
Board Member Steve O'Neill. Here. Board Member Nancy Britton. Here. Board Member Terrence Rowe.
Here.
City Attorney Joseph Public.
Here.
And City Manager Tom O'Neill.
Here.
Any announcements?
None at this time.
Joe?
Nothing from me either, Mayor.
Any comments from the public? Comments from council? Okay, we'll move on to the agenda, which is waterfront universal.
Madam Mayor, approval of the minutes. Did we do the approval of the minutes?
Thank you. Just trying to get ahead of
I
myself.
see that. Yeah.
Somebody always to keep me bring me back to order. Approval of the council minutes of the CRA board minutes for July 8th, 2014. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, moving on to the agenda, item number 2, universally accessible limitless playground. Mr. O'Neill.
Yes, just very briefly, we held a CRA meeting and deferred this until tonight based on the fact that Board Member Nancy Britton was not here. She had raised this at a previous meeting and had some ideas, I believe, so the staff is looking for any direction that members of the CRA board would want to provide to us at this time. This has been a matter that's been discussed for several years. We've included some information. I found this on the internet, and additionally included a concept plan for the master plan on here with the site plan locating a future playground on the site. So we're just awaiting any direction that you would prefer to give us at this point.
Okay, discussion.
Well, I'll go ahead and get started since I'm the one that kind of brought this up. So, you know, but I brought this up because this young man came to the Rotary and raised all kinds of money and was able to start the first playground where children in this area would have an opportunity at their school to be able to get on swings if you're in a wheelchair and whatnot. But we had discussed this, and it was Christina Coolidge, God rest her soul, who really had the vision to make a regular playground that we thought of as a regular playground. She's the one that really kind of turned it in the direction of a playground for children in wheelchairs and handicapped children. So there really is not a public one where that's not located now in a school in all of Pasco County, as far as I know. So I agreed that if the CRA decided that they would want to go forward with some fundraising and whatnot, that I would head that up. And so basically, I guess we're here so that we can, I can get blessing from the council to go forward and see what we can do to start a committee, which I already have 2 people that are interested in getting in the committee, where we can start sending out some letters and see what kind of interest we can pique. You know, I guess we have to set a goal. And I guess the goal is going to be, are we going to raise all of the funds, or is the city of Port Richey able to match some of the funds, and so on and so forth? The other thing is, too, is I don't really know how much this playground is going to cost. And I don't know if we have any of the information that Ms. Coolidge might have had. Does anybody know if there's any information anywhere about the cost of that playground?
Which playground are you referring to?
The one that she presented to us, she had talked to us about a playground, and I thought she had given us an amount.
Just to give you an idea on what is now, and maybe Pam had some additional comments, but the information here that's listed on as a part of the agenda on the inclusive playground, this one that you see was approximately $100,000.
Okay, but that does not include, now, okay, So you have a playground that's $100,000.
There, when I looked at this website, there were smaller versions that were considerably less. And that's just a figure, as I understood it, for purchase. It didn't include the playground mulch, which is, or the floor, excuse me, the ground system that's in place there that you see. So it was a figure to purchase and not a figure for installation.
Okay, so let's say we have approximately $100,000 to purchase it. Let's say we have another $50,000 to make sure it's installed correctly and whatnot, and the mulch is put down. But along with that, we have to be able to get those people from the parking area safely to the playground, okay? Then we have to choose what design, whether or not it be A, B, or C, as to where that playground is going to be located. So you have to pick out a location out of. Now I have the book from the original master plan here, and where it shows all the different layouts. So you have to have restrooms that are going to accommodate an ADA person. So, you know, this project probably, in my opinion, $750,000 is what I think it's going to cost to do this project, because of the fact that you have to have some parking, and you have to have the walkways to get to the playground, and the lavatories to accommodate the children, and so on and so forth. And so I mean, that's the figure I'm thinking. I'm just throwing that out there because I really don't, you know, have enough information on it right now. But I guess probably the first thing that we need to do is see if we can get some of those figures.
I can do that. There are numbers that are depicted in the master plan for parking and a restroom facility, and I can get that information to members of the CRA board. We could also schedule this as an ongoing item for future discussion at the next CRA meeting if you want.
Well, we don't want to.
Well, I mean, could I interject just something here? Is that, you know, any restrooms we do, any parking we do, any pathways we do, all have to be ADA compliant anyway. So, you know, and they all are expensive. And if you go back to that plan, it gives you breakdowns on different parts of it. So, yes, it's going to be, it all ties in. It's a matter of what we do at Waterfront Park and what order we do it in. And there's certain areas that are dependent on other things essentially being done first. So, you know, how do we look at it? You know, do we update the restrooms first and then start moving towards the playground? Or, you know, and again, if you've got a line on and you've got a good feeling about some funding sources out there, then by all means, you know, let's hear about those too, because, you know, I don't know what government programs are out there. I don't know if there's any federal public programs out there, you know, that can be tapped. You know, that gets back into the grant situation. So, I mean, you know, if this isn't a grantable item, I don't know what is.
Right, and I think probably the you know, I just wanted to bring it in front of CRA, first of all, you know, to get your all's permission to go forward, for one. I think what I need to do is really go out there and put some kind of letter together and see what kind of interests I have. You know, we're considering doing an ADA playground at Waterfront Park, blah, 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 blah. You know, we'll put the letter together, we'll send it past the attorney so it looks good and we don't make a fool of ourselves. And then see what kind of response we get on that. But I guess, that being said, City of Port Richey, we would have to probably come up with some matching dollars and whatnot, so to do this project. There's going to probably be some money coming out of our pocket, and that's why we're here in front of the
Oh, sure. Yeah.
CRA. But
It's part of the master plan, it's something we've committed to.
well, you know,
It's something that would be good in the community. The question is always dollars.
right. Well, the thing is as a CRA, you know, I think in my mind is it's important that we have restrooms, and it's really important that we have the playground. So maybe we could just see if we could get funding for restrooms and for the playground. People may come back to me and say, you know what, I think it's a great project, I'll give you money toward it, we'll help raise money, or no, I'm not interested in doing anything for the restrooms, but we would give you money toward the playground equipment. There might be places like the Rotary that might, give some kind of grant or whatever. So we have to, I'll have to sit down and write a letter and get that going if you guys feel that's something that we should go forward with. I think that I've had enough interest in it that it's worth trying.
Well, you're right. We may have had some notes back from, Ms. Coolidge when, she initially was discussing this. I know, we all thought a good idea. I forget what the actual number was, but, as you've outlaid, I heard part of this discussion, and while we were at 100,000, all of a sudden I heard the 750,000. So, that goes to say that there's a lot of steps involved. Because look, folks, not long ago we were talking about a $2 million park that lasted about one meeting, and there was no talk after that. We've talked about a $31,000 study to evaluate the dredging that lasted one meeting. It was done. So if we're serious about this and going forward, and as you've suggested, maybe with committee members, and certainly I think it's certainly worthwhile. I think all of us agreed on one thing. This, we would hope, would not be about dollars, because it's really the right thing to do. And this young lady put a lot of effort into it, and we thought it was worthwhile then, and it's kind of been lost in the discussion.
And even back then, we had interest from other community people that they wanted to get involved. So I think the best thing to do at this point is to go out there after some type of commitments. It doesn't have to be a binding type of thing at this point, but just to see what kind of interest. Could we do something like that, sir?
I don't see any issue with it at this point. Once it gets to the point of people starting to possibly donate money, then I think we've got to create a better framework of how that's going to work, and that's something I've got to look into as far as these joint partnerships between the city and private entities when it comes to raising funds.
You might have to have some kind of special, what's it, C, what is it, 181C or whatever?
501(c)(3),
501c3, yeah.
possibly, and there's also a statute that deals with public-private partnerships. That may or may not apply in this situation. I'm not know, but I wrote down a note to take a look at that. I think it's something that can be done.
Well, maybe the first step then is to let you do your work. As soon as you know in what direction we could go, what would be the right way to do it, because we certainly don't want to have any issues.
I would discourage a 501(c) simply because of the cost to set it up and the requirements for the tax exempt status and all of that. That it can be a hill to climb. So I would think other alternatives ought to be explored before we do anything like that.
Yes, it's something, some sort of enterprise fund or some sort of fund that they could contribute to that of the city. I mean, there's no law that says people can't contribute money to a city.
Right, and the other thing too is we might want to get the IT department involved, where the IT department could set something up where people could go online, because really if we get any kind of publicity on this, there might be citizens that would actually go online, put their credit card number in, and give a donation that way. Or mail a check in or something like that. I mean,
Yeah, I think that's pretty much hit it, because there was even some recent news, I think I remember, where, someone generated quite a bit of money for a particular cause. And this was all done, with, the $5 and $10 donations and such. So, adds up.
it does, and that's the thing. So, yeah, there's like, we gotta take a couple baby steps, I guess, before, normally I'm just used to doing a fundraiser. I'll just do a couple flyers and I'll go out there and raise money and boom, boom, boom.
Well, I don't think we ought to necessarily wait for all the intricacies to be worked out and to get a temperature of the community in terms of,
Right.
of
So I'll-
what kind of interest. So I think that ought to be pursued first and foremost.
All right, I'll
Yeah.
put a letter together, and then we'll run it by Joe just to kind of look at it to make sure it looks good. And then we'll go from there. We'll set up a committee. We got 2 committee members now, and maybe we can get on the website, we can get the guys to maybe put it on the website that we're looking for committee members, maybe, from the community that might want to get involved. Because it's gonna be a massive undertaking, you know, as far as like follow-up and whatnot. But you know, overall, I think it's gonna be really nice, and I think we can do it. I really do.
Can I make a brief comment, Mayor? Brief comment. I'd like to lend a note of optimism to this because in my past life, I've seen where a similar fundraising initiative began and got traction and momentum, and that effort resulted in, I believe, the Junior Service League taking the project on that built the super playground in Sims Park.
I was part of that playground.
Yes.
I got an award for that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. I got a plaque. I was like in shock because I raised, I think back then, close to $6,000, which, you know, back then was a lot of money.
And that playground was built at no cost to the city and has been extremely popular for 25 years.
God, it's been that long. Oh. Yeah, yeah, you're exactly right. I think there's people out there, you know, we got the VFWs, and those are the kind of places I'd like to put. Mr. Lee, you'd be a perfect guy for that, you know, taking out some letters to these VFW places and whatnot, and, you know, getting the word out. That's the bottom line. Get the word out and see who jumps on board to take interest in it. Okay.
Okay. Anything further? All right.
We probably should just like.
Mr. Lee?
Lane Lee, 5713 Berlin. I guess this is basically to the city attorney. If we do solicit from businesses, is without, or could they consider it a tax write-off?
That's something that I'm not gonna be able to advise them on. That's something they would have to contact and consult with their individual CPA or tax attorneys, whether or not it would be tax deductible.
If it's made to the city, or if, or would it be better if there was this 501c3 set up?
In all likelihood, if there was a 501c3, there would be some possible tax implications for them. But without it, I'm not sure if that would apply.
Is there any way you could find out?
Yeah, I can take a look if directed to do so.
Thank you. Anything else?
Yeah, I just to interject, I'm certain there's some sort of funding out there where you can donate money to, which is essentially a public cause, which is the city's welfare, that it could be tax deductible. I don't know what it is. I don't know the tax code, but
Yeah, not a tax attorney. so
right,
it has-
right.
You know,
right.
the other
but I
question
think
is-
I've run into it in the past.
The
where-
other thing is there some kind of handicapped group out there that already has some kind of fund set up that we could get donations and just provide the park for them, you know, and have people put the donations through their, although they'd probably take some tax consequence. No, they don't pay taxes on anything. Just the thought that, you know, maybe if somebody was already set up with that, they would get maybe
That's-
involved and.
That's a question for Mr. Schatzel, I think, probably to answer for us. You know, what our options are as far as donations to the city.
Well, I don't want to
being
start
tax
asking money
deductible.
until I know.
Well, he's our accountant, so, you know,
Yeah.
We can contact him tomorrow and probably have an answer by Monday.
yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, let's just find out how we go about doing that without causing too much issue. And, because Mr. Lee and I don't want to go out taking things out without the, you know, if somebody wants to write me a check, I want to be able to take it right then and there.
Not in your name, though.
On the spot. Really?
I just, you know, trying to be helpful.
Blaine and Britton and Company. That has a nice ring to it. Okay.
All right, if there's nothing further, we stand adjourned.
Cool, here we go. Off to the races.